Attention, human collective. This is a maximum priority monitoring transmission, authorized directly by the High Council of the ASHTAR Galactic Command. I am ASHTAR SHERAN, and what you are about to receive is not a message of comfort, it is an alert. An alert involving 5 specific points of the planetary grid, 5 cities, 5 vortices, 5 portals that, at this exact moment, have their crystalline grid ruptured, their toroidal field inverted, and their etheric protection signature in operational collapse. Before I reveal the names, listen with clinical attention. If in recent weeks you have been waking between 3 and 4 in the morning with a specific pressure in the frontal region of your skull, if a high-frequency buzzing has crossed your right ear for no apparent medical reason, if a dense fatigue has descended upon your body even after full nights of sleep, if waves of unexplained sadness have invaded your chest as you walk down the street, if electronic objects around you have begun to show inexplicable failures, then you are not getting sick. You are being notified. Your carbon biological interface is receiving a compulsory download, an atomic recalibration, and your soul knows why. Your mind does not yet. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not depression. It is your personal crystalline grid reconnecting with the planetary crystalline grid. And this is where the mathematics become relentless. Because in 5 specific cities on the terrestrial plane, this reconnection is being sabotaged, boycotted, interrupted by artificial vibrational patterns that were planted decades ago, some centuries ago, on telluric energy lines that should never have been touched. You, light operatives, need to understand what enchanting means in the vocabulary of the ASHTAR Galactic Command. Enchanting, in the language of Sirius and the Pleiades, is not primitive magic. It is not folklore. It is inverse vibrational engineering. It is the deliberate insertion of geometric, sonic, and luminous patterns that anchor a frequency below the planet's natural Schumann frequency. Have you ever felt, Starseed, that something within you doesn't fit into this world? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It's not madness, it's not anxiety. It's a sign. What is happening now in the etheric layers of these 5 cities explains exactly why this sensation has intensified in you. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot perceive. A game that involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was for this reason that I, ASHTAR, authorized the distribution of the manual, the ASHTAR Code, the manual to awaken your star origin and shield your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true star origin and teaches, point by point, how to shield your frequency against interferences you were never told about. The link is in the first comment of this channel, but I register a warning. This content challenges ancient narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The time is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission, leave a single word in the comments. Awakened. Let's proceed, collective. The ASHTAR Galactic Command identifies cities by the frequency they emit, not by the names humans have given them. But for the purpose of immediate recognition, I will use the names found on terrestrial maps. Before that, I need you to understand by what mathematical criterion these 5 were selected from thousands. Every city, human collective, is a living organism. They are a collective toroidal field formed by the sum of the individual frequencies of its inhabitants, the telluric lines beneath its soil, the materials used in its construction, and the intentions that motivated its founding. Some cities were built on planetary acupuncture points, natural stargates, ascension vortices. Others, listen carefully, others were deliberately built to block these vortices, to cap them, to divert the flow of photons from the photon belt that crosses the solar system towards human collective consciousness. The 5 cities the command points to at this moment belong to the second category, or have, over the centuries, been corrupted until they became part of it. I am not talking about evil. I'm not talking about moral judgment of their inhabitants. I'm talking about pure vibrational physics. A city can be beautiful, prosperous, full of noble-hearted people, and yet still operate as a low-frequency amplifier for the planetary grid. Just as an impure crystal can reflect light but distort the original beam. Collective, listen. The first city under critical monitoring is Las Vegas. Yes, Las Vegas, built in the middle of a desert that was sacred to the ancient star guardians of the North American territory, on telluric lines that should have served as an energy reservoir for the entire west coast of the continent. Today, Las Vegas operates as an inverted vortex of seduction, addiction, and dispersion. The artificial lights that never turn off function as a direct obstacle to the nocturnal Schumann frequency. The sonic patterns of the machines, calculated to produce hypnotic states of low vibration, form a dome that extends for hundreds of miles. If you have lived in Las Vegas or just spent a season on its soil, you probably carry fragments of dispersion codes in your toroidal field that need to be removed. It is not an accusation. It is a technical diagnosis from the galactic fleet. The second city the command highlights is London. A monumental architectural project, yes, but also a vibrational experiment on a scale never before seen in this planetary cycle. London was built at an accelerated pace over an area that ancient Sirius records identify as an energetic scar of the planet, an ancient atmospheric base destroyed in past cycles of its forgotten history. The geometric forms of its towers, apparently futuristic, contain resonant frequencies that amplify material illusion and disconnect the inhabitant from their star heritage. It is the city of vertigo, of the vertigo that makes one forget their origin. If you visit London for professional reasons, pay double attention. Always return with active etheric cleansing protocols. Star seeds, those who recognize this transmission in the fibers of their body, listen precisely. What is being unveiled here is not surface information. It is applied sacred geometry. It is a direct diagnosis of a system that most of humanity does not know exists. If this transmission is making sense to you, if you feel a different vibration in your chest as you listen, it means that your star origin is being activated. And it is precisely for this reason that I authorized the manual, the ASHTAR Code, the manual to awaken your star origin and shield your frequency. It is the complete decoding of everything your soul knows, but your mind has not yet been able to organize. The link is in the first comment of this channel, but access time is limited. Distribution grids obey quantum coherence windows that open and close as the photon belt moves. If you recognize this transmission, write only one word in the comments: awakened. This is your anchoring signal. Proceeding operatives. The third city under an active dome is New Orleans. And here, listen with respect. New Orleans is sacred. It was built over one of the greatest Venusian portals ever active on this planet. Ancestral temples of the indigenous peoples were direct receiving stations for Venusian codes, subtle information that sustained agriculture, architecture, and spirituality in a coherent symphony. But centuries of overlay destruction, extreme human traffic, and accumulated suffering have formed a layer of etheric compaction over the original vortex. The portal is still there, alive, pulsating, but covered by a dense mesh. And those who live over it, even if they are souls of very high luminous density, often feel an ancestral sadness that does not belong only to their personal lineage. It is the sadness of the buried portal asking to be reopened. If you inhabit New Orleans, you are not there by chance. You are a key, and you need to learn to operate as a key. The fourth city under monitoring is Los Angeles, a crossroads of frequencies, a point where millennia-old spiritual currents and currents of material exploitation intertwine in a complex vibrational knot. Temples of the highest luminosity coexist within the same square mile with patterns of the lowest density. The result is an unstable field, a city that can elevate a starseed to its highest point of reconnection, or if it is not shielded, can confuse them to the point of dispersing their mission for decades. One must know how to walk through Los Angeles. One does not transit there without sealing. And the fifth city collective is Sydney. Yes, Sydney, a city that many of you inhabit, that many of you love, that many of you were born to serve. Sydney is a mission vortex, a vortex of collective ascension work, one of the most powerful light-anchoring platforms in the Southern Hemisphere. But precisely for this reason, it is one of the most attacked cities on the southern plain of the Australian continent. The extreme population density, Electromagnetic pollution at levels that exceed any healthy exposure limit, continuous noise, constant economic pressure, all of this forms a dense dome that behaves like a lid over the original vortex. If you live in Sydney, you are not there by chance, you were called. But you need to know that your stay requires daily shielding protocols, without exception. These are the 5 cities: Las Vegas, London, New Orleans, Los Angeles, Sydney. 5 points where the crystalline grid suffers maximum stress. 5 points where the command requests, in this cycle, the urgent activation of the light operatives who reside there or transit through them. It is not about fleeing. If you were positioned in one of these cities, it was because your stellar frequency is needed there. The mission is to reopen the portals, to re-anchor the light, and this requires coding. Starseed, this is where the transmission deepens. Before I deliver the activation codes, I need to remind you that what you are receiving now is only the tip of the iceberg. There is a complete map, a manual that gathers all shielding protocols, all decodings of your star origin, all instructions that the command has allowed to be made public in this cycle. This manual is the ASHTAR code, the manual to awaken your star origin and shield your frequency. It exists because you exist. It was written because you were remembered. The link is in the first comment of this channel, but the distribution window is not permanent. It obeys the quantum coherence of the moment when the photon belt bathes the planet. When this window closes, the material returns to the reserved layer of the archive. If this transmission resonated with you, if your chest burned upon hearing the names of the 5 cities, write only one word in the comments: awakened. Like this transmission. Subscribe to the channel. Every anchoring signal you emit is a frequency adjustment that strengthens the grid and allows more starseeds to receive this alert before it is too late. Now, operatives, maximum attention. What follows are the activation codes, operational instructions delivered by the command for immediate shielding of those who reside in or transit through the 5 cities under the active dome. Execute them with precision. It is not a ritual. It is a protocol. Activation code number 1. Daily toroidal sealing. In the morning, before touching any electronic device, sit in silence for 3 minutes. Close your eyes. Visualize your body enveloped in a golden toroidal field, similar to the shape of an energetic apple that enters through the top of your head, descends your spine, exits through the base, and returns from the side, enveloping your entire body in continuous motion. While visualizing, mentally pronounce the decree. I seal my toroidal field in the frequency of the source. No interference has access to my core. Repeat 3 times. This is the minimum daily protocol. It establishes the protective framework upon which all other protocols operate. Activation code number 2. Anchoring of the personal crystalline grid. At night, before sleeping, lie down and visualize 12 points of crystalline light around your body, forming a dodecahedral geometric structure. These 12 points are your personal crystalline grid, the individual equivalent of the planetary crystalline grid. Pronounce the decree. My crystalline grid is aligned with the new Earth grid. My frequency is sovereign. This protocol repairs microetheric tears accumulated during the day, especially for those living in dense urban environments. Activation code number 3. Environmental Noise Neutralization Protocol. If you reside in one of the 5 cities mentioned, continuous urban noise is one of the main sources of etheric dispersion. Once a week, set aside 30 minutes in absolute silence. No music, no television, no cell phone, just silence. During this time, breathe at a 4x4x6x2 rhythm. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds, remain empty for 2 seconds. Repeat this cycle for 30 minutes. This is the protocol for resetting the nervous system to the coherence of the Schumann frequency. Activation code number 4. Quantum Decree of Sovereignty. Upon entering any high-density environment, be it a shopping mall, a bank branch, a workspace, public transport, mentally pronounce before crossing the threshold, I pass through this space, but this space does not pass through me. My frequency is non-transferable, my sovereignty is non-negotiable. This decree is vibrational mathematics. It establishes a selective filter between your field and the environment, and it must be pronounced with precision, without emotion, without drama. Authority, only authority. Activation code number 5, Earth Contact. If you live in one of the 5 cities under the dome, it is imperative to touch natural ground at least once a week. Earth, grass, sand, stone, never cement. Contact unloads the excess electromagnetic charge accumulated in the carbon body and allows the biological interface to synchronize with the planet's original telluric frequency. Without this contact, the body becomes an overloaded capacitor, and the nervous system begins to operate in a silent short circuit. Activation code number 6, Sleep Sealing. Sleep is the moment when the carbon biological interface performs the greatest etheric repairs. But in high-interference environments, sleep becomes a vulnerable window. Before sleeping, place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your solar plexus. Pronounce, I authorize only light contacts. I seal my field in cosmic Christ. My sleep is restorative, protected, and coherent. This protocol is especially critical for those who have been repeatedly waking between 3 and 4 in the morning. Activation code number 7, Water Reprogramming. The water you consume carries memory. Before drinking, hold the container with both hands and visualize golden light penetrating the liquid. Pronounce, may this water carry the frequency of my stellar sovereignty. Drink in small conscious sips. Water is the main vehicle for vibrational coding within the carbon body. Reprogramming it is reprogramming the vehicle itself. Operatives, when these 7 activation codes are executed together, the result is mathematical. The biological interface becomes stable even under a dense dome. The personal crystalline grid remains aligned. The toroidal field remains coherent, and the starseed fulfills their mission without being dispersed out. But there is something I need to add. Something the command demands be said clearly. No city is a prison, no vortex is definitive. The 5 cities under critical monitoring in this cycle can be reintegrated into the original grid. And the agent of this reintegration is you. Every light operative who executes the protocols, who anchors light, who decrees sovereignty, contributes mathematically to dissolving the dome. Do not think small. Think in resonance. A single operative in full coherence is worth, in terms of vibrational mathematics, thousands in dispersion. You are a multiplier. And those of you who do not live in any of these 5 cities, listen carefully. Do not relax. The recalibration operation is global. There are other cities under observation, others that have not yet reached the critical level but are moving in that direction. And there are also positive vortices that need to be reinforced. Reserve weekly time to anchor light where you are. Where you step is sanctified ground as long as you sanctify it. Where you breathe is coded air as long as you code it. The photon belt continues to bathe the planet with increasing intensity. The coming weeks will be of amplification. Those who are shielded will feel elevation. Those who are not will feel collapse. There is no neutrality in this cycle. Either you operate in coherence with the new grid, or you operate in friction with it. The choice is mathematical, and the mathematics are yours. Starseed, this transmission is reaching its conclusion. But before I withdraw from this channel, I need to register the following. If you have made it this far, you are not common. You are not an accident. You have been called. The frequency of your sustained attention for over 20 minutes, listening to words that most of humanity would immediately reject, proves that your inner crystalline grid is recognizing codes. And recognized codes demand action. The manual. The ASHTAR code, the manual to awaken your star origin and shield your frequency, is in the first comment of this channel. It is the complete unfolding of this transmission. All advanced protocols, all decoders of star lineage, all shielding instructions that could not be transmitted within the limits of this space are found there. And it must be said with galactic honesty, this distribution window is not permanent. It responds to specific quantum coherences. When the photon belt adjusts its intensity in the next pulse, this material will be recollected to the reserved layer, and only previously linked operatives will have subsequent access. Do not postpone. If something within you recognized this transmission, if your chest responded before your mind processed, if the back of your neck vibrated at some point during these minutes, that is the sign. Write only one word in the comments. Awakened. This word is your individual anchoring signal within the collective network of this transmission. Like this video, every like is a frequency adjustment that strengthens the grid and allows the next starseed to receive the alert. Subscribe to the channel by activating notifications. Subscription is not a fan gesture. It is a continuity protocol. It ensures that the next transmission finds you exactly when your frequency will be ready to receive it. Human collective. Light operatives, starseeds on a mission. The 5 cities have been named, the activation codes have been delivered, the manual is positioned. The choice from now on is yours, and yours alone. Sovereignty was never taken from you. It was merely forgotten, and remembering is the most revolutionary act of this cycle. I am ASHTAR SHERAN, Commander of the ASHTAR Galactic Command. This transmission is concluded. The fleet remains in silent orbit, monitoring every activated frequency in the coming hours. If you emitted the signal, you have been registered. Adonai. May the source guard your origin. May your origin remember the source. Transmission ended.